Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is TJ Jones, and welcome to the Therapy Couch Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. I just want to go ahead and let this be known right now. I know that this is live on the State of the Saints Podcast Network, but we won't be talking football at all on this episode. We won't be talking about that at all. Shouts out to everybody that's tuning in. This is a podcast where we talk about life, we talk about current events, we talk about situations, and how can we grow from those situations. I like doing this podcast. I probably don't do it as much as I should because I don't want to water it down. Most of the time when I'm doing this podcast is probably when I really have something to say, or I really got to express myself in some type of way. Shouts out to everybody in the chat right now. Hopefully that, this episode can make you think, can help you reflect. This is going to be a tough episode for me to do. I'm not going to lie to you about it. I talked a little bit about this on the podcast before I actually went live. I'm talking the State of the Saints, and I didn't do a State of the Saints podcast for the last 4 days. Normally, I try to do them every single day, maybe take the weekend off, but it was really tough for me to do the State of the Saints podcast on last week, and it had a lot to do with what happened in a small town in Mississippi named Rolling Fork. Rolling Fork, Mississippi is a small town in the county of Sharkey, one of the smallest counties in Mississippi. And that little town meant a lot to my life. And as I talk about this, I think that you all will understand why, why it means so much to me. Before I get started, there was a tornado that came through. For those that may not know, it was a EF4 tornado. Came through the town, and just absolutely destroyed the town. 90% of the city was destroyed. Rolling Fork probably has about, 16, 1,700 people in that town. And, you had 20 plus people lost their lives. And I'll never forget this as long as I live. It's recent, but I don't think I'm ever going to forget this. I was waking up on a Saturday, right? Because I really wanted to go outside and do something with my grass. Like to make, first off, man, my grass is trash, all right? I just want to let that be known, you know what I'm saying? So I really wanted to get a really good go at it, and I was motivated to go out there and get this grass done, the plant seeds and all this kind of stuff. And all of a sudden, I go on social media, of course, to check to see if anybody, said or asked me questions and stuff like that, just to interact with those individuals that make the State of the Saints podcast what it is, and all the people that support me no matter what podcast venture I got going on. And I see Rolling Fork, Mississippi trending. Now, you can imagine, like I said, it's a small town. So I'm wondering to myself, like, why in the world is this small town trending? Then all of a sudden, I get messages from individuals that I knew in that area. And they're asking me, like, did I hear about the tornado that came through Rolling Fork? And I'm like, and I hate to say it like this, but we see these tornadoes and stuff like that. We see them kind of like just kind of roll through. But, you know what I'm saying? It might be a house or two, a building or two or something like that. And you're like, oh, okay, you know what I'm saying? Destroy that building. But, man, thank goodness, like nothing, like serious happened. But the more I kind of researched it, the more I got into it, the more I heard about it, I realized that it was worse than I can ever imagine. And I started to like go to social media because I hate this, because I had a Facebook page And I ended up getting it deactivated. Somebody hacked into the page. So I have a brand new Facebook page. So a lot of people that I came in contact with and I know from that area, I lost, right? Unless it's like people that I really just kind of really truly, just kind of keep up with that I found during the time. So I started to message everybody that I knew. And one person, the first person that I messaged was my good friend, my coworker during the time when I was there, Ms. Wanda Kelly. And I just started messaging her. I messaged so many other individuals. Shouts out to Bree, shouts out to Caribbean, shouts out to Tracy, shouts out to Ms. Lodi. Like, these are individuals that, that I grew to to love. And because for 4 years of my life, I worked in this town. I was a store manager of a small store, and I'm put up on the screen, Fred's. This store right here that's on your screen right now, if you're watching this, if you look at the bottom of the screen, right where that yellow Fred sign is, that's actually my old SUV. That is my Nissan Murano parked out there, which I thought was pretty funny. Like when I was trying to find a picture, because as you know, Fred's is no longer in business. But I managed this store for 4 years of my life. And, I remember like when I came to this town, like when I first got the job working at Fred's, they had me working and training in a town called Yazoo City, which is probably maybe 25, 30 minutes from Rolling Fork. And I can remember like them telling me about, oh, we're going to send you to a town called Rolling Fork, Mississippi. First off, I didn't know nothing about the town at all. So I can remember like finding out a little bit about the town. And I rode down there and I seen the people and stuff like that. And I seen the store, and I can remember this store had absolutely no roof. Okay. It was like a bunch of brown insulation in the roof. I'm like, what in the world did these people sign me up for? But I ended up meeting like different individuals that, shouts out to Bree who worked there. She talked about how hard I shook her hand. But I guess, I was trying to like leave that impression like, man, I mean business. But long story short, man, I end up leaving this store like because I end up getting transferred to South Carolina. But these people became my family. They became my family, man. You become so ingrained within a community because the community, once again, is so small. So you have those individuals coming in the store every single day. You see these people, right? You see most of the people in the town. They come to this store. I mean, for lunch, I'm pretty sure some of you probably heard about Chuck's Dairy Bar, literally like across the highway. I used to walk over there, shouts out to Raheem, shouts out to Alvin. We'll go over there for lunch, doing truck day, joke around a little bit, people in there, sit down, and, probably shoot some pool, even though I'm trash at it. Raheem waxed the floor with me. But like I said, man, you find yourself like falling in love with the town. And I think about my life right now. I think about my family. I think about my friends. I think about my son. I think about how my life has changed since I came to South Carolina. There would be no host of the State of the Saints podcast. There would be no broadcasting personality at WLGI. There would be no assistant GM. There would be none of those things without this town, because if I didn't work at that store in that small town of Rolling Fork, I would have never got the opportunity to get transferred to South Carolina, where I met my wife, where we end up getting married, and us having our son. And I would not have been working at this radio station, because I found out about this radio station where I work, because I was working at the store in South Carolina. And my assistant at the time told me about the radio station because we were hooking up Bluetooth speakers for the holiday season. And, we turned on a radio station, and 90.9 was the station that she turned to. And I thought it sounded pretty good. And I ended up getting in touch with Mr. Ernie Hilton, who works at the station with me. And, the rest is history. But it would have never happened if it wasn't for this town. Back to what I was just saying originally, the first person that I ended up, messaging was Wanda Early Kelly, who I later found out that day, shouts out to Alvin, that she was killed. She was riding in the rain, the bad weather, tried to find shelter. Ended up going into a building where it ended up collapsing. And she ended up getting killed. And unfortunately, another person that I work with, Miss Lodi Johnson, she ended up losing her daughter in the process, who I knew. She would come in the store all the time, looked just like her mama, just like her. But like I said, man, you get opportunity to talk to these people, interact with them, and it just hit different, and I cannot get this thought and these feelings out of my mind. And I have been constantly moving, and I've been constantly grinding, and I've been constantly working because I have not wanted to just sit down and reflect, because every time I sit down and reflect, I think about this town. And I finally gathered, my emotions and feelings enough to be able to look at some of these videos. And you look at, these individuals who lost everything. They lost family members. They lost businesses. They lost friends. And the more, I start to get in depth and try to research and figure out what happened, the more tragic it feels, because these folks. And I only can imagine how a person in that area and how that town would feel, because everybody. You went to the same, most of the time you went to the same elementary, middle, and high school with those individuals. And me, I stayed maybe 45 minutes to an hour, in Vicksburg, Mississippi. And I used to travel there every day to go to that store. So I ain't gonna this really hurts and is painful. And I'm trying to fight back tears. Probably the reason why I'm not on camera right now. But I just don't understand this, man. I don't understand why. I mean, this is one of those situations where there's a God and you believe in him, but you wonder to yourself, why did this happen to this town? Some of the most wonderful people get you the shirt off their back. Just wonder why, man. You just wonder why. And you see people, express themselves and dealing with that, with the trauma and the anxiety and the feelings that they have about the things that they lost. And I remember looking at this guy, talked about him losing his mom. And he was like, it's hard for me to feel this way, because you go down the street and somebody lost their family member. It hurts. You hurt for the people. Part of you feel why, who are you to feel this way? When these people are really going through and feeling they worse, and it hurts. But like I said, I'm forever appreciative of that town. like that town gave me the opportunity to spread my wings and to be, in my opinion, what I set out to be. It wouldn't have happened if I didn't have that little stop down Highway 61 in Rolling Fork. But I also want to acknowledge some of the people that's down there, like some of the people, the first responders, those individuals that's rolling down with the food trucks. I seen my alma mater, Jackson State University. They were down there. All those individuals that are out there trying to help this town, try to heal. And I also seen President Biden down there. I seen him. And I just hope that they do right by this city. I hope they do right by those people. Because it seemed like, and I'm sorry for saying this, but it seemed like to me, everybody wanted to talk about how poverty-stricken this town is. Who cares? This town needs help, and the government, they should look out for this town. And because these are good people. These are hardworking people. These are loving people. I mean, these are people that, like I said, I've grown to love and appreciate their existence. And I'll tell a story about Wanda. I ended up meeting Wanda, of course, when I started to work at the store, and I can remember Wanda was probably there like about 5 years, before I got there. And I can remember like how hard she worked, man. Like Wanda was stayed grinding, right? And I can remember like talking and saying, man, I needed a assistant at the time. And I was just looking at this, I ain't really say nothing much to anybody, but I was just watching people work, and I just was impressed about how hard she worked. And, I ended up like promoting her to like an assistant, and she just knocked it out the park. I'm talking about anytime like I was sent on, I guess you could call it like an assignment or something like that around Mississippi from upper management, like she will hold it down. Her and shouts out to Cynthia, like they will hold it down. And I can just remember like she was always super supportive. Like when I talk about I was in a closet making podcasts, trying to, like trying to build up like whatever this was that I am, she will always watch every single video that I did. And she would laugh and joke and talk about, oh, you're going to make people mad when you said this, or, you entertaining, you funny. But she always encouraged me, and she always made me, like she always showed me love, and she no matter what I did, she was always like super supportive. And, you never forget those individuals. And it's crazy because the last picture that I put up was a picture of my son. I took my son and my wife, and we went to the beach, and I can just remember like she put a heart emoji on there. Any picture of my son, like she always liked it, or she still was supportive from afar. And she was a really good person, like a really good person. She was like she had like that very like soft-spoken voice, even though like she raised her voice, but it's still kind of like, like kind of soft-spoken, but she was an incredible person. And I'm gonna miss her, man, like for real. I can't just I'm talking about any failed venture that I had when it comes to like trying to be creative or anything. Like she was super supportive. And I remember, like I said, I remember how hard she worked. And like I said, I continued to see like after I left, like she continued to like be that same hardworking, loving person that she is. Because I mean, the love and outpour for her after the tragic event just tells you the type of person that she is. So, rest in peace to Wanda. Rest in peace to April Johnson. And so many of the other individuals, lost their lives as well in such a tragic event. Such a tragic event. I'm going to go ahead and read some of your comments. Then we'll, go from there. It says, I'm sorry to hear that, TJ. My prayers and condolences go out to these individuals and their families and friends. I understand the feeling. The thing about it is, I hate this. The older you get, the more familiar the individuals that leave this world are going to get to you. And, like this situation, like just kind of made me change the way that I think. Some of the things that I thought were hella important aren't even that important to me anymore. Like we spend most of our time, talking about what we're going to do tomorrow, talking about what we're going to do next week. I didn't say this to this person. I see him tomorrow. It's we all have a shelf life. Like I know we don't want to talk about that, but we all do. And what you do with your life, it is what you do with your life is basically how people are going to look at you. You know what I'm saying? How you going to be remembered. And I'm glad that I have moments, when I think about, that city of Rolling Fork, I think about it. I have such positive memories, like I don't really have any negative memories. Like only thing I remember, like, being on that hot truck, you know what I'm saying? Like when doing truck day and stuff like that and laughing, with the guys and, and and Cynthia and Wanda and Miss Jane and them, they'll come back there and look and make sure that we are all right on some of those hot days. I think about those things. So, I got nothing but positive memories and thoughts when I think about that. But that's what makes this hurt even worse. From the fine folks at the bank. You know what I'm saying? When I Bank of Anguilla, you know what I'm saying? Like go up in there, you know what I'm saying, make that deposit, like all the people in the town, like the Double Quick gas station, you know what I'm saying, who had that bomb church of chicken. I don't know who was making it, but yeah, man, but it's just nothing but positive memories that I have, from that town. And like I said, that what makes it hurt even worse, because you see the heart of those people. Like shouts out to Miss Tracy, the owner of Chuck's Dairy Bar. Shouts out to Miss Washington who worked there. Shouts out to Bell Davis who worked there. Like that. You had like so many like really cool people. You know what I'm saying? Like always had that 3-piece on deck for you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Show it like made it with love. You know what I'm saying? Chuck Burgers with love, like the classic Chuck Burger competition. When the town have their festivals. So. Nothing but positive memories, you know what I'm saying? Like nothing but positive memories. TJ was addressing the people in Rolling Fork that was hit by the tornadoes. Yeah, we talking about that. And me, I used to work in that town. I worked in that town before I moved out to South Carolina. Prayers to all the families and their community. Life is so short and inevitable. Yeah, life is short, and I tell that story not to make people like sad and down. I tell that story to encourage people to live life to the fullest. Like, don't leave no stone left unturned. Don't take life for granted. Like, grab it by the horns and just enjoy it. Like, I know that sometimes people can upset you. You can be frustrated. Life can take a toll on you. You're dealing with bills. You're dealing with family. Sometimes, like your relationships may not be where you want it to be. It takes a little bit of work. But love your life, love everything about your life, and love the people in it. And don't be afraid to pick up that phone and send a text message or a phone call or a message to somebody that you haven't talked to. You know, like don't take life for granted, and understand that your life is valuable and your life is special, and live every day like it is the last day of your life. You know, I think that kind of helped me, even like with when I was talking about at the beginning of the podcast, I was talking about the yard. It just made me like want to do like things even more, like, you know, making sure that, you know, I handle, you know, certain duties, being a better husband, being a better dad, you know, being a better friend, you know, and, you know, that those are the things that I look at that I want to be, and that I don't, since since this happened for the last few days, that's the only thing I've been thinking about is how, you know, I want to be remembered, you know, like how do I want my life to be mapped out? You know, and if I can touch somebody's life, then, you know, my living ain't in vain. But, you know, in the meantime, I want to just continue to do that. I want to continue to work. I want to continue to be the best that I can possibly be. And I encourage you to be the best that you can possibly be. That would be my advice for anybody. And like I said, you know, no matter what you're going through, you know, these troubles aren't going to last, you know, and no matter what you're going through, you know, somebody else is going through something much worse. Right. So you got to pick your head up and continue to work, and don't allow the world just to continue to weigh you down. Like, and it's okay to cry. Like, seriously, it's okay to cry. Like, I'm trying to cry so I can, you know, get through this episode, but it's okay to cry. And it's okay to not be okay. You know, I know some people like want to be strong. They want to be there for everybody, but it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to have to take a little break. It's okay to try to remove yourself from certain situations because maybe you just can't take it right now. But don't stay in that position. Like, it's okay to cry, but when you're done and you wipe your eyes, get up and continue to move and press forward. You know, don't let it just continue to defeat you. You know, it's okay to feel defeated, but don't be defeated. You know, like, it's okay to feel that way, but don't be defeated. Like, don't let life defeat you. Continue to work, continue to grind, and continue to see the greatness of what life has in store, even though sometimes it feels like you're wondering a little bit longer than you think you need to. A lot of companies, organizations are helping the people rolling fork, you name it, they did it. Yeah, and that's great. You know, I've seen Walmart trucks roll up. Like I said, food trucks galore. You had different people from different universities around Mississippi. The federal government came down there. They look at, and they treat it as a state of emergency, which I can appreciate. What I didn't appreciate, though, unfortunately, I think it was a slip up. President Biden referred to the town of Rolling Fork as Rolling Stone. But yeah, I guess it happens, man. It happens. But I just hope that that's not an indication like, oh, I'm just talking and now it's time to move. You know, I don't get into that. But I hope that, you know, that the town gets the help that it needs. I hope it gets the help that it needs, because it's a good town with really good people, really strong people, and you have a lot of optimism in the midst of all of that. Like, I've seen videos in which, you know, individuals that, you know, were talking about, man, if they, you know, they give you the resources, would you still stay here? And then people like, yeah, like, this is my home. And when you have that type of energy, you know, it just makes people, you know, man, it just gives you that inspiration that what you need. I didn't know if I was gonna I was going to play this video here, but this is like the town and what they're actually going through, man. Like, this is the actual town, like complete destruction right now. Like, and these people are trying to, like I said, pick up the pieces of their lives. And then, like I said, it just makes you have an appreciation for every day that you have to live. Every single day, that you have to live, you look at this. Like, man, I can't tell you like how many times like I pass these streets that they showing. You know what I'm saying? In complete destruction, riding down the street. How many times I done stopped at that gas station, the double quick gas station, to get some gas before I had to. Because if you didn't stop at that double quick, you didn't have man. You was going to break down on Highway 61 because they ain't have no more gas stations up there until like you get to the front where, close to Vicksburg or something like that, down 61. So I didn't stop there many a times. I didn't man, I done stopped at that Church of Chicken I don't know how many times. Yeah, like I said, I don't know what they had in that chicken, but that chicken was bomb. But yeah, man, these people are going through it right now. And we just got to continue to like pray for these individuals and keep them up and keep them lifted up. And if you didn't hear anything that I said on this episode, make sure that you live life to the fullest. Tell the people around you that you love them. And it's okay to feel defeated, but don't be defeated. Thank y'all so much for checking out the Therapy Couch podcast. I ask that y'all subscribe to the channel, youtube.com, search Therapy Couch podcast. Okay. I know I'm playing this. This show is live streaming on State of Saints Podcast Network, which is Therapy Couch is a part of the State of Saints Podcast Network. But like if you want to just join the channel, if you just want exclusive content to Therapy Couch Podcast, it's available on all streaming platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. Make sure you check it out. You can check out previous episodes. Till next time, be happy and be healthy. You all take care, and much love to you. Thanks for tuning in.